Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in for another production vlog. Today we got a couple projects. January is always a quiet month, and we like it that way because we get a chance to recalibrate. And sometimes we'll take on projects that are not our typical and maybe at a lower budget than what we typically take on, just to kind of fill the time and get a little extra income coming in, because, you know, some money is better than no money. So what we've got here is a project we did it was a rally. A production company that films and edits rallies was like, hey, can you guys film this rally, do photo and video of this rally for like an hour and send us the raws and we'll edit it. And that's the kind of gig that, I mean, normally if we're in the middle of busy production cycles, we turn that kind of stuff down. It's low dollar. It's not, the kind of stuff that we're here to do. But on a quiet month when there's not a lot going on, we'll say yes to that kind of thing, just like anyone else would. So I was doing photography with the FX30, which is pretty decent stills, using the 24 to 105 and the 18 to 35, kind of for the variety of different shots and angles we needed to do. Mike was doing video, so you see him going around with a gimbal. And yeah, I just kind of mounted the 360 cam to my camera just to kind of capture some behind the scenes of what was going on. And it was a small rally of people just kind of walking around trying to get a message out to a local legislator. And for this kind of stuff, like, there is no political affiliations for us one way or another on things like this. We're like, look, we're hired guns, we're hired cameras. We're just going to come and film what you need, send off the footage. We don't kind of worry too hard about affiliations on stuff like this. So it was a pretty straightforward job, and those come along here and there. We do these sometimes, but we don't do very much we especially don't do very much photography, but it's something we can do. And for certain projects where that's what fits the bill, we go ahead and do it, and we say yes occasionally on these things. So that's kind of what you see here. Something to keep in mind as a professional, if you're ever at an event like this and there's law enforcement around, I don't care what your views are about law enforcement. You don't want to be the one getting arrested. So always go make nice with law enforcement when it's something like this and they're just standing there watching. And so, of course, you walk over and one of the officers is like, oh, hey, is that a FX30? Because turns out he's into video, right? And so he and I had a great chat about video production and stuff. And it turns out he's doing videos on the side doing weddings and everything else. And so I invited him to our Video Pals meetups to come join and be a part of what we're doing there at Video Pals, and just kind of networking with other video pros in the local market. So we had a great conversation, and then I just went back to doing my thing. But always be friendly with law enforcement, and I know everyone's got opinions about that. So anyway, at something like this, I do like to walk up to law enforcement, shake hands, exchange a business card, just be like, oh yeah, here I am doing a job. I'm just a professional doing my thing. And you never know. Sometimes that kind of networking can lead to work, because it turns out this guy's producing videos for the sheriff's department. And it's like, hey, cool, here's another connection. And if you guys ever need, a bigger crew, oh yeah, we've got a grip truck and we do all this stuff. And so another person to network with, and just treat people like human beings. So the gig included the mixture of photo and video of the event, as well as catching interviews. So Mike was doing some off-the-street interviews. They provided us questions and kind of told us, what they wanted. And so great, we'll just catch some quick interviews. It's all just simple, natural light, available light, and put a mic on people and do the thing. So just another quick, simple gig, another way to, just help keep the lights on. Every little bit does add up. Something you do want to figure out is you want to figure out how much do you need to make to keep your lights on, right? So, for example, we figured out what our number is per month, what that is per week, what that is per day. And then we take that number and we double or quadruple that number in terms of a day rate, so that we kind of know, okay, if we want to make X amount, per day, we know we're not going to work all the days in a month. So we say, okay, let's work half those days. Let's work a quarter of those days, right? That you're getting paid for production. Not that we're trying to not be working, but there's only so many days that you're going to get hired to be out shooting. So you need to make sure that the days you are out shooting, you're making enough to cover the days you're not shooting, because that's just how it works. So on a job like this, we're not making our normal rate, but we're making enough to cover that day, and that's good enough. Here is some behind the scenes for another random thing that we do occasionally, again, on a quiet month. So a guy I know runs a podcast, a YouTube show where he interviews local business owners, and he wanted to take it to live stream. And he already had a lot of equipment in terms of video, lighting, sound, but he didn't have any live stream equipment. And so he asked me to help him set that up because he knows that I have experience with that, and I've run a lot of live streams. And so we helped him get set up with that. And of course, he wanted, all these complicated things that were not the way I was used to doing them. And so that's just kind of how these things go, right? Where you think, oh yeah, I can totally do this and figure this out. And then I'm scratching my head trying to figure things out. I'm Googling, how do you do this? Because he wants, this or that it's just something I've never done before. So we did like a half day of testing to try to get multiple camera streams into the laptop to be able to show like 3 cameras up on the same screen simultaneously, kind of in the style that he wanted. And ultimately we found out that the hardware wasn't up to it. And so we decided that we had to recalibrate and say, nope, let's go back to a traditional switcher. So we got him hooked up with a, A10 Mini to do some traditional camera switching. And then we were able to, still bring in, a remote guest and add that in OBS, if we needed to, which we haven't got that far. So we haven't figured that part out. I've looked at some videos on how to do it and whatever. But anyway, there's all these different pieces to a puzzle in a live stream. And so, of course, there's all these graphics, all these scenes, and we're trying to get all that done. And so it's like all the way up until like 5 minutes before we're supposed to go live, I'm like continuing to program and put things in the Elgato, Stream Deck so that we can punch buttons and have scenes come up and make it easy because he wants his assistant to be running the show. Emily's actually part of the show. And so she's running the show. She's not a technical person. She's creative, but not a technical. And so we've got to get this set up in such a way that she can run it, push buttons, and produce a show at a high level. And so we were able to do that. And then once it was time to go live, I kind of walked them through. This is the first one that we did. And so I was sitting just off camera to fix little glitches that came up, and sure enough, a handful of things came up. There was an audio problem. I totally forgot to recalibrate, the audio recorder levels into the microphone because there were so many other things. Like we could hear it, it was just had a noise floor. So all these things happen, and you just have to kind of go on the fly. And then we had cameras start cutting out because HDMI handshakes on his consumer cameras were not liking the ATEM and whatever. We had an HDMI cable go bad like in the middle of the live stream. It was crazy, and so I'm running around fixing things while they're live. So it was a good thing that that we were there to get it all done. But boy, live streams are just a thing, and there's a lot that goes into a live stream. And this particular guy, I know I'm in a business networking group with him, and I was actually on his show a while back. So that was fun. But so he had me come out the next week and help run it the second time. Of course, we had more toys and we had more gizmos and try to program more things and sound effects, and we couldn't get it all working in time for the live again because there was just so many new things we were trying to do. But ultimately, had a successful show, and that's what it's all about. In the end, can you deliver something that is useful and that works for the client? And we were able to do that. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoy the content like this, stay subscribed, like, comment, give us some interaction, let us know what you like, what you don't like, give us some tips on how you've approached some of these challenges and what you'd like to do.